Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to be talking about Summer Helena, along with all of the information that was released at the FanFest. We're going to be going over the unit itself. We're also going to be talking about the new equipment that's coming out this week, and we're going to be talking about the new VC, the Dark Ramuh VC. So let's go ahead and dig in. So just to briefly recap the news for this week, we do have Summer Helena releasing. We knew this was going to come out from the FanFest. We do also have 1,000 Days of WoTV going on. Pretty standard event, it looks like. We're going to have a Bloom on the Battlefield event, which has a very cool, I'm guessing this is Mont, but I'm wondering if it might be King Elda or if something else is going on here, but very cool nonetheless. And we do have some new gear, some new guild maps going on, and all of that. They have reclassified the jobs as well for VC abilities and VC items as well, it looks like. So a pretty standard update so far. We are getting a host of new gear, so let's cover the new gear before we go into specifically Summer Helena. So we are going to be getting the Elven Glove, which is going to give Spirit Penetration 20. This is going to be an interesting piece of gear. It is unfortunate that it's restricted to so many classes. It is an Energist weapon, so it's one of those things where, yeah, it's a really good Energist weapon. You know, Spirit Penetration 20 is always going to be great. It's going to give you more flexibility, but we already have the capability to get this on other pieces of gear. So it begs the question, is this going to be best in slot, or is this just going to give you more flexibility, right? We're also going to be getting the +6 Gigant Axe, and the Gigant Axe is a weapon that I personally have always been a fan of. It gives slash resistance penetration 20. It also gives increased accuracy 10 for self, so that +6 +10 accuracy is going to be really nice. You also get an additional +7 accuracy if you do have the aim version of the weapon. So if you're wanting to go for accuracy, if you're wanting to get a more accurate axe weapon, this would be the weapon for you. Now, in terms of units and VCs coming out, we do have Swimsuit Helena. We do also have the Dark Ramuh VC, and the Dark Ramuh VC is not terrible. For the individual unit, it's going to give missile resistance 10%, spirit penetration 20, and decreased evasion 5. Party-wide, it's going to give magic 50%, slash resistance 10%, and when it's maxed out, it'll give earth resistance 15% party-wide as well. So not remarkably terrible. It gives nice dex, so 40 dex, 184 magic, some defense and spirit, but it's not going to be, I would say, the strongest vision card in the world. It's, of course, as similar with all of the dark vision cards that have come out. You're going to want to get it. It's going to be a good kind of composition builder if you really want it, but it's not going to be necessarily a must-have. It might be really good if you are wanting to try and maybe counter any type of like missile composition with combination of like getting some slash resistance and earth resistance, because it has that innate missile resistance on it. But you know, it's one of those situations where I don't think this VC is going to, you know, compared to all of the other Dark Esper VCs that have come out, I don't think you need to pull for this right away. And I think holding out for a little bit with all of the Christmas VCs coming, with all the Christmas units coming, is going to be a very good idea. We do have Summer Helena as well that's releasing this week, and I'm gonna say just pass on Summer Helena. Summer Helena is probably the most unremarkable unit that's coming out. When she was released on the JP side, I did a video on it, and it was extremely underwhelming. She's a cool unit. She has some interesting features, but she's fundamentally lacking a large amount of penetration, and she's also fundamentally lacking some survivability. So let's talk about that. So she is a primary job Energist, essentially. She's going to be a white mage with Paladin. Her mastery ability, she does get some penetration here, so she's going to get magic attack resistance penetration 20. She's also going to get magic plus 10%. But once you look into her passive abilities are where things really kind of start going downhill. She does have an ability which gives magic 60%, but that's going to decrease HP 5%. She also has agility 12%, spirit 12, but again, we're not seeing any type of penetration here, which is going to be problematic. Taking a look at her counter abilities, of course, her primary counter ability, Thorns of Rose, is going to have a 20% chance to proc. It deals non-elemental, essentially, or raw elemental damage, it looks like. Direct attack damage, which is pretty cool. But I don't think it's going to be enough to save her. Coming down into her main job kit, the biggest problem is going to be a lack of any type of real survivability. Of course, she has absorb HP capabilities. She has a potential to inflict stop on the opponent. But primarily her survivability is going to be in her paladin subjob with Immortal Spirit, which she's only going to get one instance of. And even then, you are lacking full life in White Mage sub, which is also a problem. So you can't really run her as a White Mage. And even running her secondary job or her primary job in her secondary ability, that's really good. That's where all of her penetration is. She has a buff that gives lightning resistance penetration 20, magic attack resistance penetration 40. She can also decrease magic resistance in this build. So if you're running her PvE, you're probably going to want to run her with her primary job as her sub job, because that's one of the only ways to actually get her a large, substantial amount of penetration. Otherwise, I think most people are probably going to try and run sub paladin or sub white mage, and it's just not going to go all the way. Her primary kit ability, the interesting thing here, she doesn't have 100% hit, which is a 200% modifier, of course, which is another variation of Energist's ability. Her magical season ability is really interesting because it increases damage done by skills 50%, but they will also cost TP based on AP costs. So the question is, will this buff outpace the need for penetration? Again, if you guys hear me say penetration throughout this video, please feel free to take a shot. Because I've heard a lot of people say they just want to build her as entirely raw magic, and then they just want to not really worry about the penetration, but just go in and try and deal a ton of damage, which I think is possible if you look at her abilities and you look at kind of the widespread area damage of them. You do have Dispel the Guts on one of her abilities here, Midsummer Magic. 25% chance to stop, could be effective, but is it going to be enough? Important note here, Summer Drain is also a 100% hit, which is really nice. And I just kind of wonder, looking at her kit, is she going to be better than Ibarra? Is she going to be better than running any other lightning combination, particularly since we have S there? I just don't know if I see it happening. Her LB does Dispel Shell, decreases AoE resistance 30, so it is a large range attack. It is at the cost of 69 AP. So maybe you could pull something off here, but I really don't see it happening for her. I think she'll be a really fun PvE unit. I think she'll be great at chaining, potentially, or increasing damage for your party. I just don't see her actually being, though, an effective use of your Visior to pull, and especially with, Shadowlings coming out in the near future and many other units likely for Christmas that are going to be coming out as well. I'm just going to say hard pass on Helena right now. Now, if you've seen some of the announcements from the FanFest, there's a couple of other things we have to talk about here. They did announce a PC client. Some people were really excited about that. They said the PC client was in development. Personally, I am not too excited about it. I think this far in the life cycle of the game to release a PC client, it's probably not actually a PC client for War of the Visions. It's probably a PC client for all of their mobile games, and they're probably getting it ready for like the release of another Final Fantasy mobile game would be my guess, right? And War of the Visions is just kind of like added on there. So who knows if it's going to actually be a standalone PC client release? Who knows if it's going to be released in GL before or simultaneously as JP? Probably not. Probably going to be released in JP. It'll probably be 6 months away, which means it's going to be 10 months away for the global player base. So I'm not remarkably excited for the announcement of a PC client. It would be great if it came out. If it came out next month, I'll eat my words and I'll just say, great, very excited. Square Enix is right on top of it. They're doing the right thing right now. But honestly, having seen the execution of Square Enix compared to other mobile game companies right now, I am not optimistic yet. They're gonna have to impress me before I will sing their praises, essentially. The other thing going on, they talked about they're developing multiple 100 cost fire units, which is great, but again, that's probably going to come out in JP before it comes out in GL. They also talked about like different collaborations that are coming, which they're just hinting at Dragon Quest. They also talked about other collaborations that are non-Final Fantasy, one potentially being a anime related collaboration, which could be really cool depending on the anime. Knowing War of the Visions though, and kind of the history that we have, I imagine it's going to be some convoluted waifu anime that nobody likes. I think everybody would like scream if it was like Full Metal Alchemist, or you know, something crazy like that. And I think that's like what all of us hear when we hear anime collaboration. We're like, it's gonna be Full Metal Alchemist. That's what's gonna happen, and that would be great. But you know what it's probably actually gonna be? It's probably gonna be like Doka Doka wife, you know, whatever waifu anime collaboration that nobody likes. That's what I see happening. It's gonna be another Addison Rae level collaboration. So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you guys please can leave a comment. I am trying to get back into the algorithm as I am back making videos again. We are back home from Vietnam, and I will catch you guys later.